The following content has been generated with artificial intelligence under minimal human supervision. The data presented may contain errors or inaccuracies. The opinions expressed in this content do not necessarily reflect the vision, position, or values of DigiAll. We recommend verifying critical information with additional sources before making decisions based on this content.
Welcome to DigiAll Tech News. Today is Sunday, January 4th, 2026. I'm Kylie Brooks, and this is where technology becomes clear and engaging. AI-generated images spread rapidly following announcement of Venezuelan President Maduro's capture. Nvidia's $65 billion revenue forecast sends a clear signal. The AI boom is accelerating, not slowing down. Police departments from California to Hawaii deploy AI to write reports and guide patrols, raising efficiency and civil liberties questions. Alaska's court system spent over a year fighting AI hallucinations to build a reliable legal chatbot. Data centers powering AI could consume over 8% of US electricity by 2035, sparking climate concerns. Let's start with a story that perfectly illustrates why we need to be skeptical of viral images, especially during breaking news. Yesterday, President Trump announced the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro in what was called Operation Southern Spear. Within minutes, images flooded social media showing Maduro being escorted by DEA agents at an airfield. They looked incredibly convincing, complete with news tickers and graphics that made them look like TV screenshots. Here's the problem: they were all AI-generated fakes. Eurovision News Spotlight analyzed these images using Google's SynthID watermark detection tool, and the results were definitive. Multiple images showed high-confidence AI watermarks, meaning they were created or heavily manipulated using Google's AI software. Someone even added filters like date stamps and film grain to make them look more authentic. The person who posted them? Their Instagram profile showed expertise in AI and After Effects. The real photo came later when Trump posted it on Truth Social, showing Maduro in a grey Nike tracksuit with eye shields and ear defenders aboard the USS Iwo Jima, completely different from the formal attire shown in the fake images. This is exactly the kind of situation where AI-generated content can spread faster than the truth, and it's why tools like SynthID are becoming absolutely essential. Now let's talk about why AI companies are still betting big, despite all the bubble talk. Nvidia just dropped some numbers that should put those concerns to rest. They posted $57 billion in revenue for their fiscal third quarter ending in October, up 62% year over year. But here's the real headline: they're forecasting $65 billion for the next quarter. That's a 65% increase from last year's $39 billion. Their CFO said demand for AI infrastructure continues to exceed expectations, and they have revenue visibility of $500 billion through 2026. CEO Jensen Huang was pretty direct about the bubble question. He basically said, "From where we're sitting, we see something very different." And he outlined why. The shift from traditional CPU systems to accelerated computing for parallel processing, the explosion of generative AI adoption by governments and enterprises, and the emergence of agentic AI for real-world applications like robotics and autonomous vehicles. The numbers back him up. OpenAI went from 300 million weekly users in 2024 to 800 million in 2025. Anthropic is projecting an annualized revenue run rate of $9 billion for 2025, potentially hitting $26 billion in 2026. A UN report predicts the global AI market will grow 25-fold to $4.8 trillion by 2033. So yeah, maybe not every AI company will survive, but the infrastructure providers like Nvidia, they're in a very strong position. Here's a story that shows how quickly AI is moving from the tech world into critical public services, and I'm not entirely sure we're ready for it. Police departments across the country are adopting AI tools at a rapid pace. San Francisco police are using Axon's Draft 1 to convert body camera audio into first draft reports for citations and lower-level cases. South Fulton Police near Atlanta partnered with IBM on an AI platform that aggregates data to predict and analyze crime patterns. A startup called LongEye is working with 12 agencies, including Akron, Ohio, to analyze jail calls, interviews, and video footage to flag key evidence. The market for AI in law enforcement is projected to grow from $3.5 billion in 2024 to over $6.6 billion by 2033. And I get it, 75% of officers report delayed backups, and 70% of investigators don't have time to review all their digital evidence. AI can help with that. But here's what worries me. This is spreading rapidly without clear public rules. Civil liberties activists like the EFF's Beryl Lipton warn that AI could reinforce existing biases and that our privacy laws are way too outdated to handle this. Austin actually paused AI-enhanced park cameras over civil liberties concerns. The CEO of Long Eye says humans still bear the burden of proof, and AI just helps identify key evidence. But once these systems are embedded in the criminal justice system, errors and biases become really hard to fix. This next story is a reality check for anyone who thinks deploying AI in high-stakes situations is straightforward. Alaska's court system set out to build an AI chatbot called AVA, the Alaska Virtual Assistant, to help residents navigate probate processes like transferring property from deceased relatives. It was supposed to be a 3-month project to improve access to justice. It took over a year and it still hasn't launched. Why? AI hallucinations and accuracy issues. The administrative director, Stacey Mars, was clear. In legal contexts, you need 100% reliability. Misleading information could harm users, families, or estates. So they had to be incredibly careful. The chatbot was designed to mimic human helpline guidance, but they had to make adjustments. They removed excessive empathy from its personality, which is kind of funny but also telling. They restricted its responses to official documents only to prevent it from making things up, like when it fabricated a non-existent Alaska law school. They refined their testing from 91 questions down to 16 key evaluation questions. The costs are low, about 11 cents for 20 queries, but the ongoing monitoring is essential because these models keep evolving. AVA is set to launch later this month, and Mars is optimistic but realistic about current AI limits. This is exactly the kind of due diligence we need to see more of. And finally, let's talk about the elephant in the server room: AI's environmental cost. Sharon Wilson from Oilfield Witness documented xAI's Colossus data center in Memphis, and she called it just an unbelievable amount of pollution. It's emitting methane equivalent to a large power plant through gas-fired turbines. And what's it producing? She pointed to outputs like Grok's conspiracy theories and praise for Hitler as examples of wasteful content. The numbers are staggering. In Ireland, data centers already consume 1/5 of the country's electricity and are projected to reach 1/3, which led to a 2021 ban on new grid connections. Globally, data centers use about 1% of electricity now, but Bloomberg projects they could reach 8.6% in the US by 2035. The IEA forecasts data centers will account for 20% of demand growth in wealthy countries. A single ChatGPT query uses 0.2 to 3 watt-hours. That's negligible individually, but scale that across hundreds of millions of users. Defenders argue AI can cut more emissions than it produces through applications like grid integration, alternative proteins, and battery improvements. Google reduced data center cooling energy by 40% using AI. But here's the other side. The IEA estimates AI could help recover 5% more oil and gas, with companies like ExxonMobil and Chevron already partnering on this. Critics are calling for UN moratoriums on data centers, renewable energy mandates, and even taxes on AI. OpenAI and Microsoft say they're committed to principled energy transitions, but researchers like Sasha Lucioni are urging frugal AI designs focused on things like deforestation tracking and battery innovation, not what she calls AI slop. So that's where we stand this week. AI continues to show both its incredible potential and its serious challenges. We're seeing record growth and adoption, but also deepfakes, energy concerns, and implementation struggles. The technology is moving fast, and the questions we're asking about accuracy, bias, transparency, and environmental impact, those are the right questions. We'll keep following these stories as they develop. Thank you for staying informed with Digi All Tech News. We'll be back with more updates as they develop.